Hey, gentlemen, welcome to another live stream. How did you guys get on this weekend? Yeah, I'm really looking forward to today. So I'm aiming to do an hour. So I'll do an hour and we'll see how we get on. I've got a feeling it's going to be a really good one today. All the live streams are pretty good. So I've made some notes. Let me brief you on what today is about. So today is about how to build confidence with women, dating and relationship advice for men who suffer with anxiety, and I also include that as social anxiety as well. So if that's you, if you're a guy of any age, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s plus, who's really suffering with anxiety and you're lacking confidence and you want to build confidence, you want to get results with your self confidence, you want to build confidence with women and improve your relationships, especially if you're a guy who wants to build honest, meaningful relationships with women. And even before you get to that point, learn how to be confident being yourself, not trying to be someone else, someone, not using lines, tricks. I'm not into that stuff. So if you're someone like me and my clients whose values are having respect for women, being yourself, learning how to be more confident in you, and being genuine from the start and throughout, whether it's a first date, a long-term relationship. Honesty, let me get straight into tips right now. One tip, right? You can leave this live stream now. Take this one tip. I promise you, it will change your every area of your life, especially with women and dating relationships. If you practice being honest with women, your confidence immediately is going to start going up. And I promise you, um, the majority of women are going to like you, they're going to respect you, they're going to trust you, and they're going to see you as more of an attractive man because of your courage to be honest. Because there's so much advice out there which is terrible. It's not honest. It encourages men to lie, to be someone they're not. That stuff doesn't last long. Listen, if you want to do that, that's your choice, right? It's nothing to do with me, and you don't have to come on my channel and agree with the advice that I give. It's a free world. But if you are a guy who resonates with my values and this is for you, then you're going to stay on the live stream. Because when I was starting out years ago, trying to figure out how can I get a girlfriend, how can I get over these insecurities, these anxieties, these fears, I went online and I was looking for advice. And I'm not going to say all the advice, but I would say 70 to 80% of the advice I got was dreadful. And even before I started dating, the way I was brought up, my values, just what I felt in my heart, I never wanted to use tricks and be someone else. I wanted to be me. But I didn't have the courage at the start. And I know deep down that's what all guys want. And I can say from my experience, from what I've learned from women as well, feedback, relationships, girlfriends, the honesty is the best policy. They appreciate that, and I'd rather get rejected by a woman in a relationship through being honest and being who I am than be accepted and successful for lying and using tricks, all this stuff which is weak really, because eventually it's going to catch up on you. So I'm big on that. Right. Okay. So I've made some notes here. We'll do a Q&A throughout. Get your questions ready, but I'm going to cover the topics first. This might be a little bit different to what you expect. I think the advice is brilliant. I know it works because it's a bit deeper and it focuses on other areas. Right. So just get sorry. I had some I had some healthy food today. I have healthy food every day, so I've got more energy for this stream. Good to see you, Eddie. It's been quite a while. Yep, honesty is the best policy. Hold on a second. Where's this going now? These pillows are dropping everywhere. See what you guys are making me do? Right. Okay, let's do this. Gotta get comfortable. Okay, so I made some notes, right? Okay. Now, reluctant to say this because this is one of the areas that most people They don't want to improve. I get it. But I'm telling you, it's worth a lifetime of investing. It will give you confidence with women. So, two things that will give you confidence with women is dieting and exercising. Let me just read this out. Dieting and exercising consistently or on a regular basis is one of the most effective ways to build confidence, along with socializing. So, when I teach guys how to be confident, I don't just teach them how to be confident with women, but I teach them how to be confident in life. I see it as a relationship. If you're confident in yourself and then you're confident with your friends, with your family and people, that confidence is going to translate onto relationships with women. Or if you're speaking to a woman in any situation, whether it's a first date, it doesn't matter. It could be on a phone call, it could be online dating, you could be asking a woman out, talking to a woman in a grocery store. Confidence, um, it transfers over. So back to what I was saying, when you're dieting regularly and you're eating a healthy diet, how does it make you feel? Well, it makes you feel confident, makes you feel good, all the nutrients, all of the good energy, and it physically makes people look more attractive, more slimmer, more healthier. So I'm just trying to get my all these war wounds from the gym. So, all right, I've wrote some things here. Okay. Right, I've gone on to say here, most men who lack confidence will also lack self discipline, which is why practicing eating healthy, exercising, or going to the gym regularly will build that discipline that they're lacking and missing. And that discipline will translate or transfer into increased levels of confidence and self esteem. All these things come down to building a habit. I think that's the word of the day today. I've been meditating or kind of praying on that word habit. Okay. So before we even get into like the conversation with women, dates and things like that, which you guys can ask me questions. So I'm just trying to get I can't seem to get 100% comfortable here. Right. Now I'm going to go over it again because I know it seems to be quite a few people on this channel and a lot of men, they struggle to sort of get this into their head. So when I start talking about how to be more confident with women, how to improve your relationships or get a girlfriend or feel more relaxed around women, less awkward, less insecure, they tend to just focus on, oh, what will I say? And I understand that. And I know that that's an important factor. But what I'm trying to explain is, listen, before we get to that point, please try and listen to me and be open minded. I really want to help you. I know this advice works. If you live a healthy lifestyle, I'm not saying be perfect, right? Cliche saying, no one's perfect, but that's not an excuse to be the best person. If you're eating healthy food regularly and you're going to the gym, you're gonna physically look in good shape. You're gonna feel confident. Now, from that standpoint, it's gonna be easier to speak to women with confidence. Whereas, let's say we've got a guy, for example, who doesn't go gym, eats a poor diet, feels terrible about himself. Maybe he's overweight, or it doesn't necessarily mean he's overweight. He could be very slim, but he's not living a healthy lifestyle. Of course, he's going to have a poor self esteem if he goes on a first date. Of course, he's going to have um, unconfident body language, and his whole energy is not going to be great. He's not going to be projecting confidence and positive energy, which is all in this category of having confidence of women and projecting confidence in a positive way. So exercise and dieting improves mental health for men, especially for guys who suffer with anxiety, which is pretty much most guys. So that's the first step in how you improve your confidence with women, your relationships, and your dating life. So any more questions on that, I'm happy to answer. What I will say, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see my diet plans and some of the training clips, which will give you motivation. It will give you a physical imagery, which might help you to get motivated to make these changes. And if any of you guys are going gym already or training, let me know in the box below. Well done, because you're already, you've already got some of the foundation right. Yeah, I will talk about the fear of rejection. I will come to that in a second. Yeah. And I always really like it when you guys talk amongst yourself in the chat and be social. That's really important. That's improved, because when I used to do streams back in the day, people wouldn't really be talking to one another. They'll just kind of be listening to me and asking me questions. So that's even better if you do that. Right. Okay. Hold on a second, guys. Right. Just give me a second. I've got to get comfortable with it because it's affecting my conversation. Hold on. Yes, I know I'm big on being comfortable whilst being uncomfortable, but not when you're doing a live stream. Get some water as well. Okay. All right. Let's see how that feels. That's a lot better. There we go. There's a sweet spot. So, yeah, I'm doing that. I'm doing I am doing that. I don't really refer to it as no fat. There's nothing wrong with that term. But I am doing that, yeah. Along with dieting and things like that. I'm going to talk about that more on the channel, Johnny. Right. Do you know what? I'm not going to rush today because I'm learning and learning the more I do these live streams. There isn't any rush. Gives you guys to answer questions. And I know some of the things I'm saying, you got to kind of take it in. It takes a while, right? Because these are things that take time. They're habits. And that's kind of like the main theme of today is you build confidence by, by the habits that you practice on a day-to-day basis. Well, remember, guys, I said we're going to be thinking outside the box here. I'm going to be sharing things that you might think, well, hang on a minute, what's that got to do with being confident with women and getting a relationship? But it will make sense. Okay, now we're going to get on to self-respect as a man or as a human being, and we're going to get down to discipline. We're going to talk about simple things that a lot of men struggle with, that they really want to address and fix, because what I've learned is when you go into a relationship with a woman, it doesn't matter what age you are, these issues that a lot of us men have, they're going to start affecting your relationship with you and your partner or girlfriend. And I've made this mistake, which is why I've tried my best to learn from it, and many men do. I also want to make a point of saying I'm trying to get you guys to understand, and this took me a long time to understand. It took me more than 10 years, right? Living and learning. Being confident with women and improving your relationships with women is a direct reflection of your relationship with yourself. So if you don't have a great relationship with yourself right now, change it to a positive. We're going to help you to fix that. It's going to show up with women, right? Right. So discipline, self-respect. How do you build that? What does that have to do with confidence of women? Everything. So for me, discipline and self-respect starts off with how you treat your apartment, where you live. So when you wake up in the morning, the first thing that I do is I get up, I make the bed. I've said it before, I clean the apartment. So that means cleaning the dishes if they need doing, hoovering or cleaning the floor, keeping the toilet clean. Yeah, healthy body, healthy mind. So this is all self-respect. And you may think, oh, it doesn't matter. It's all about, making money and followers on Instagram. It's like, it does matter. It catches up with you. At the start, you might think it doesn't matter. Here we go. Sound like an old man, but when I was younger, I used to think, these things don't really matter. As long as I get a six-pack, make some money, be popular, girls will like me. But it bites you, comes back to haunt you. Get it right now. When you clean your apartment every day, like Eddie was saying, good mental health. All this is about confidence and self-esteem and positivity. It's all about feeling good. So we're really onto a winner already. So gym, healthy diet regularly as best as you can, right? Obviously, these things take time. So patience is always important. Cleaning the apartment. Already, we're kind of building a picture of quite a confident, disciplined man. Just imagine yourself for a second, right? Not comparing to me or anyone. Think of yourself individually. Just think of a man and then reflect it back to you. A man who wakes up, fixes his bed, cleans his apartment, has self respect, has discipline, works out regularly, exercises regularly, eats a healthy diet. Already, he's onto something positive. And that's even before we talk about asking a woman out, seeking a relationship, improving relationships, what to say to a woman, how to be good in conversation. Already that man is in a positive position in life. Whereas if you're not doing those things, you're on a negative. And of course, women are going to judge a man who lacks self-respect and self-discipline, maybe not outrightly consciously, but unconsciously. And you really want to be doing this not to impress women or anyone, but for yourself, for you, for your happiness, your self-esteem, right? So that's important, and these are all habits. Going to the gym is a habit, eating healthy is a habit, making your bed every morning is a habit, cleaning the dishes, taking out the trash, all habits. Habits either build confidence or they destroy confidence. Oh, this broccoli's kicking in, and all this veg and brown rice and meat. 100%, 100%, Brent. Right. This is the what I call the social aspect, and I'm really big on this on my coaching programs. And when I coach clients, I'm more big on this now than I've ever been. And when I'm doing coaching with my clients, because I do different areas of coaching, I don't just do dating and relationship coaching. Some of you know, some of you don't know. I do business coaching, social anxiety coaching, and lifestyle. It all comes under confidence coaching. One of the things that I always make sure from working with a client, I ask them, how social are you being, like just in their life. So um, I'm not saying that you got to be like every single day around people, but if you can like see your family quite regularly, friends, if you socialize regularly, you're gonna have more confidence of women. Guys that are more antisocial, they isolate themselves for long periods of time, their self-esteem is always lower in my experience. From coaching guys out of that position into more of a social, state. So that will really improve your confidence. The more social you are with friends, family, or going to events or to the gym, the more you're gonna the more confident you're going to be with women. So that's another way in which you can improve confidence. Just checking the questions there. Yeah, one of you mentioned it, and I have wrote it here. So Johnny talked about no fap. Definitely, a lot of guys approach me and ask me about this. Um, if you can cut out watching porn and you can do the no fap for as long as you can, or for however you can do it, it's going to give you more confidence of women and in life. Okay, fear of being rejected. So with rejection, well, let's put it into perspective. Um, there's so many ways I can pick this apart, and let's go for this one. Let's start off by saying I'm actually glad you said it. Right, there's going to be some contradiction in what I'm saying, but I've often said there is contradiction in truth. So initially, rejection has basically rejection has affected a lot of men's confidence or women in relationships because we've all been rejected, especially when we're younger, or we've interpreted it as a rejection. We've had a heart broken, or some girl, or when we were younger, went out of another guy, didn't choose us, that affected us. But as you get older, you realize that if you don't face your fear of rejection, you're not going to gain confidence. You're not going to get a relationship. Everybody in dating and relationships, men and women, people, everyone gets rejected at some point. But it's how you deal with the rejections that makes a difference. And the way that you should deal with rejection is by part of being bitter is they quit on their dreams. They don't keep taking action. So if you use rejection as a positive, there's many ways you can lose it. You can say, look, I tried. Look, if you like a woman and you ask her out and you're honest, she rejects you and says no. Okay, there's nothing you can do about that, right? Well done for trying. You had the courage to do it. You were decent, you were confident, you tried. But there's actually a lot you can do. You can choose to respond in a negative way or a positive way. You can say, how can how can I learn from this? How can I go forward? You can ask someone else out. You can work on your insecurities. And like I've said many times, rejection equals success if you don't quit and you follow the advice that I give throughout this channel. So it's really about looking at it in a different way. But if you just look at it in the way that most of society does, and it's going to be so negative, it's going to beat you down. So rejection, if looked upon in a positive way, will give you more confidence. And a lot of people are imprisoned by rejection because they're so afraid of it, they don't ask someone out, they don't try. And that's when I come back to the dieting, the discipline, the training, the abstaining from porn, the doing the nofap. This is all building mental toughness. It's all building self-esteem. So confidence is developed through going through rejections and growing through them. So that's the way I would deal with it. I would say as well, rejection is temporary. It's not permanent, but a lot of people can get into that. Guys can start obsessing and getting in a negative mindset and feeling that the rejection's forever, but you've got to just move on. The amount of times that I've been rejected in dating would be, but I've been successful because I didn't let them define me, and I didn't let them stop me from working on my life and myself. So every time you get a rejection, you should use it as motivation to improve your life, improve your lifestyle. And eventually, if you go about life that way and you don't give up when you get rejected and you learn from it and you see it as feedback, you will get an even bigger success. So the rejections will actually play a massive part in you getting the relationship that you want or the confidence that you want. But the main thing that I want to stress today for guys with the relationship and dating advice for guys with anxiety is work on your life as a whole, improve your lifestyle, because everything that you do in your life affects how you feel. Every conversation you have affects you, every habit that you've got. So, really look at your life as a whole and break it down into every different um, department, like your finances, your career, your fitness, your lifestyle, your dieting, and start working on those areas. I call it a life coaching approach. It's what most life coaches do. That's what I do in my confidence coaching. I have the life coaching approach because it works. So work on these other areas and you will become more attractive to women and people in general. Then you're going to have more confidence. Look, if you're successful at being disciplined and you achieve goals, then you're going to have more confidence of women. A lot of the times, guys lack confidence of women because they don't have direction in their life. They don't have goals, they don't have a purpose. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to They're trying to pursue women in hope that they're going to get women. It's going to make them feel good, but that's the wrong way to go about it. You'll always lose in the end like that. So you've got to work on yourself if you want to be happy and confident. You've got to get yourself into a point where you're happy in who you are, or you're at least, improving that relationship with yourself, and then it's a lot easier from that point to get a relationship or to have that confidence with women. Now we're going to move on. Now I've stressed that. We're going to move into the communication side, where I know a lot of you guys are going to want answers for that. So, like I said, the fastest, most effective way to build confidence in terms of with communicating with women is honesty. Honesty is the best policy, and a lot of guys struggle with that. The reason why a lot of men struggle to be honest, because they're afraid of being hurt, they're afraid of opening up, they're afraid of being vulnerable. So, opening up, being vulnerable in the right context, obviously, it's like with being honest, you want to be respectful. That's going to give you confidence. And I think, sometimes for guys, it's a case where they've got to mature, where they're still quite immature. And that immaturity makes them want to play games or be someone else. And you've got to get to a point where if you can't be yourself, then long term it's not going to work. At some point, it's gonna fall apart. So I'm trying to help you to prevent yourself from going down that route, which is why I say that. And when you're honest, it feels good. I think people know that. Just think about the last time. When was the last time you had an honest conversation with a friend or a woman or a family member? It feels good, and I'm sure that's why lots of people have said it over the years. They enjoy my videos, my teaching, because they enjoy hearing someone who is honest and is being open and being themselves and working on that and improving other people. So, like I said in the last live stream, you guys agreed. The reason why the kind of whole podcast thing has blown up and people are really interested and fascinated and obsessed with it, because most times on the podcast shows, the ones that I watch, two people are having an honest dialogue and it makes the conversation interesting. So a lot of guys are under the illusion that, well, if I'm myself, it's going to be boring. The girl's not going to like me, or I'm not good enough, or I don't have interesting things to talk about, and my life is not interesting. So I need to come up with anecdotes or routines or lines, and it's not true. You need to have the courage to be vulnerable and open, and that's when you get the best connections. And of course, you've got to risk judgment, rejection, pain. But you're going to risk those things anyway. So it's better to have the good ethics. As I said, my core principles and values I teach this on programs when you're talking to women is honesty, having respect for women and yourself, and confidence. And that's a recipe for success. So, it does take a little bit of practice, especially if you're coming from quite an introverted background and you've been through bullying and anxiety. You're going to kind of have to break down your own barriers. But again, with time and practice, you get better at things. And I think that's something that I want to stress, and I keep reminding it. A lot of people, they want to be confident, they want to be successful with women in relationships and with life and finances and everything else, but they don't want to go through that beginner stage of not knowing everything and being awkward and being nervous. But if you don't go through that learning curve, then you won't get to a point of being experienced and confident. So you've got to come outside of your comfort zone if you want to be confident and happy and successful with women. And that's just a rule of thumb if you want to be successful at anything, which is why I stressed earlier, guys, that I'm really big on successful habits and principles and values and attitudes, because they're the same in every area of life, even though the areas are different, whether it's business or relationships or dating or the gym or dieting. And having failed in these areas myself throughout my life and having been successful in these areas, I've learned that the principles are pretty much the same, even though the platform's the wrong word. There might be different domains, but it's still the same principles of, setting goals, working hard, coming outside your comfort zone, putting your ego aside, failing, falling over, getting embarrassed from time to time and then overcoming these things and growing in confidence. So the habit, the practice is taking action, and obviously when you're having conversations with women, you're going to have to come outside of your comfort zone, especially if you're a shy person to begin with, in order to um, in order to overcome being shy and anxious and awkward and not knowing what to say. But like I said, um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, let me ask you guys a question. If you're watching someone on a podcast show and you notice that they're a bit nervous, but they're courageous and they're sharing their story and they're inspiring people, or they're talking about things that they've gone through in their life and how they succeeded, or you're going to respect them. If you're a decent person, you will. I know I will. Doesn't matter that I might notice, oh, the person's a bit nervous or they're having some doubt. Well, I respect them because we all feel nerves and we all have doubt and insecurities when we're facing our fear and doing new things. But it's going through those things that actually gets you to a point where eventually you're not nervous. You will be confident if you keep working at it. And it's no different with building your confidence with women and improving your relationships with women and the relationship with yourself. It's a habit. So you have to allow yourself to be a beginner and not judge and not get immature and too sensitive about, oh, I shouldn't be nervous or I shouldn't be like this. Or it's like, well, you should be at the start. Everyone's like that. You're no different to anyone else. If you keep working at it, you will overcome it and you will get more confident. Right. Other ways in which you can build confidence of women in relationships, and I know this is a really scary one, and it's one of the biggest human fears on the list of all human fears, and it was a fear for me until I done it, and it's brilliant, right? And it was something to work towards, and that is public speaking. If you guys can push yourself to do some public speaking, and when I say public speaking, I'm not really talking about a live stream, although don't get me wrong, doing a live stream on YouTube definitely will give you confidence, but it's much better if you do it in person. Public speaking, guys, I've said this before, it changed my life because I was terrified to do it when I first started. I was anxious, I was nervous, I was very scared at the start, but I kept working at it and it gave me confidence in every area. And I honestly believe it played a part in me getting a girlfriend at the time and starting a business and doing so many things. So, public speaking will give you a lot of confidence with women and it will give you more confidence socially. And this is so important for men who suffer with anxiety, social anxiety, and shyness. So, maybe that's a long term goal that you guys can work towards. Yeah, Toastmasters is good. If you come to one of my events, I get the guys that come to do public speaking. I've been doing that for the last 6 events that I've done, and it really helps. What is the best way to talk to women at a club or a dance floor? Honestly, I think the best way is to dance and enjoy yourself and go from that standpoint because a lot of the times, again, a lot of guys will be scared to dance. I was, and you come across too serious, and sometimes that puts women off. So personally, I don't go nightclubs anymore. I'm not a fan of them. But the last time I went out was with a girlfriend. It was a 60s place in Brighton that played great music, and I danced. I faced my fear, and I had a great time. But I was with a girl. So for me personally, I would actually you know, get good at dancing or just dance, enjoy it. And if you're having a great time and you're dancing, you're more in an attractive space as opposed to a guy who's just standing there stiff, nervous, you know, holding his drink and not doing anything and just standing there. So that would improve. Um, your confidence, and that would make it a lot easier. It's easier to talk to someone, isn't it? It's easier to talk to a woman when you're happy, you're having fun, and you're confident. And that's really what I'm trying to stress today. Really simple truths that ask yourself the question, ask it right now. How can I make myself happy? How can I get myself to feel good about myself? Can I get myself to feel confident? How can I get myself to have a good outlook on women? If you ask those questions, your spirit, you start getting answers. But I think a lot of the times guys are scared to ask those questions because they might not like the answers that are going to come, because the answers are going to somewhat say to you, you've got to face your fears, you've got to take responsibility. So that would help. I appreciate you guys coming on the stream. It's shaping up pretty good so far. So again, for me, the way I'm doing it now, yeah, definitely, Eddie. It's a very for me, this is the confidence coaching that I do with my clients. Just to let you guys know, if anyone's interested in working with me and doing mentorship, send me an email, and I do coaching in these areas, and I can work with you one on one. I do a 6 weeks program that will help you with your dating and relationships, and I do weekend programs. I do a long 1 year program, which is for really dedicated clients. So this is the confidence coaching I do for dating relationships. So send me an email, I'll get back to you. That's kind of you. I don't have a donate button on this. I took off the super chat option, which is probably a silly thing to do. A couple of years ago, I don't know why I done that. Um, but that's kind of you. To offer that. Appreciate that. You can always donate. I don't have a PayPal, but if you want to send a donation, you can, and I'll put it into the business and improving the channel. The only thing I've got is bank details, so you can drop me an email if you want to do that. But you don't have to do it, just by supporting the channel, subscribing, liking, and you're already giving back. Okay, so another way that you can build your confidence of women. I'm going to ask you a question in a second, Vance. Give me 1 second. Guys, I love your questions. Get them going, right? Another way that you can build confidence is it's tough. It's it's honesty, but it really works. Write it down. If you don't want to share it with people, you want to keep private. Write down all your fears, and then start to face them. This is what I done when I started out on my journey, and I'm telling you guys, facing fear builds confidence. Have you ever dealt with the physical part of being nervous, like your heart racing, legs? Of course, even before I finished your sentence, of course I have. I had a lifetime of that. That's why I got into confidence coaching and helping guys with anxiety, social anxiety. It takes one to know one. So yeah, I've had experienced that many times. Any ideas how to overcome that? Yeah, you basically, there's two ways that you overcome that. Number one is by wanting to overcome it, and you've got to practice in those feelings. I'm going to go into that more. I love your question. I don't know if you're new to the channel, Vance. Appreciate you coming on. If you are, if you're enjoying the teaching, getting value from my coaching, subscribe. I will make a personal video for you on that, because that's a subject that I'm obsessed with, which is fear and anxiety, nervousness, and how to manage it. And that's what I do in my teaching. So I can do a video on that. But yeah, it's basically practice, mindset, and it's basically the practice that I call becoming comfortable, basically being comfortable, being uncomfortable. And that outlines what you said. These are all symptoms of fear and anxiety, which everyone feels. In regards to your question, so said I wish I could get into a social state without alcohol. I often go from logical work all day, minimal. Yeah, I mean, that's something that you got to want to do, right? I don't specialize in that per se, but I've helped a lot of clients, and they've told me that they've drunk a bit to overcome anxiety. And I explained to them, obviously, like what you said, that's not really a great strategy long term. So try and give it up and socialize without it. Yeah, it does, Brent. Yeah. With exposure therapy, if you keep practicing consistently, symptoms, it's a bit of both to answer your question with regards to does the physical symptoms of fear and anxiety, does it ever fully go away, or does it only diminish and get easier? It's a bit of both in my experience. It's exciting. So yeah, there are certain anxieties and fears that if you face them enough, the physical symptoms or the biological response of fight or flight will completely go. But there are going to be areas where you're always going to feel some fear and anxiety because you're human, but you learn how to manage it. And that's certainly what happened to me on my journey. Areas that used to make me give me physical symptoms like stuttering, nervousness, fast heartbeat, shaky legs, sweating. The more I practiced, the more these symptoms completely went away. And there's certain areas where I will feel fear and it will not fully go away, but it will reduce and I can control it. So that's really the best that you can hope for. Well, well. For example, let me guys give you an example as you've been asking me questions. Brent's been asking me about this, and Vance also asked me about symptoms like do they ever go away or how do you improve them? When I first used to do public speaking and do my events, I remember when I was first doing my events for dating and confidence. Even I remember when I was living with my previous girlfriend, I used to struggle to sleep the night before because I was so nervous and anxious about the next day having to give a talk that it used to really unsettle me. And on the day of the talk, I'd be feeling sick, nauseous. I'd have to go to the toilet. When I'd get to the event, I'd have huge amounts of anxiety and adrenaline. But because I've been doing it for a long time now, I can sleep pretty easily and I'm a lot more relaxed. I mean, I've just done 6 public talks in the last few months and have felt so much more relaxed. So, to answer your question, the more you practice facing fear and anxiety, especially in the area of speaking and socializing, the easier it gets. But to get to that point, you're going to have to get uncomfortable and experience these symptoms. Never heard of that term, envy attacks. Are you sure you spelt it right? Do you mean anxiety attacks? I've never envy attacks. Don't know that term, Tim. In regards to your question, CCODEAD, I think that's where you need to do training. You need to exercise. Exercising will calm down nervousness and anxiety and these symptoms. But all the things I've been saying on the channel, I've given you. I'll say it again, right? Um, I do tell you guys sometimes. I don't know if you don't listen or you hear it or it's not getting through. Live a healthier lifestyle. If you exercise regularly, you socialize regularly, you eat healthier or a healthy diet, you're going to have less anxiety and you go out and you socialize. You're going to deal with it a lot better. No, I don't really have that, if I'm being honest, Tim. not in that sense. I think oh god, in a second. Okay, of course we've all been through that. Yeah, I think this is one of the things that obviously you're human, and if someone is trying to tear you down, everybody goes for it. But again, it's how you deal with it. And a couple of solutions are get people out of your life that are like that, or learn to control your emotions more. But all these things will be improved, Tim, if you apply the things that I've been saying on the channel on this stream, like, taking action, gym, dieting, training. You're welcome. Well, let me give you an example, right? He won't mind me saying one of my clients, Phil, who I've been coaching now for, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, maybe longer. He's doing my 1 year program. When he first came to me, he was really nervous and anxious. He had very bad social anxiety, like you guys do, right? And he was even quite nervous with me meeting me, going for a coffee. Now he's just so much more confident and relaxed because he's been practicing the exposure therapy, facing his fears. He's done public speaking. I've helped him. He set his own business up. He's coaching. He's gone on dates. He's traveled. When I sit with him now and go for a coffee, he can speak. He can make eye contact. He's confident. But because he's worked at this in the coaching with me for 4 months, so you've really got to work at this to see the improvement and to see your symptoms start to improve. See, that's the thing that I notice with a lot of people, and I do stress it a lot on the channel and make a video again. Lots of people want to find some quick fix method to take the symptoms of anxiety and fear away, but that's not the way that you do it, unfortunately. I wish there was a quick fix out there, but there isn't. You got to overcome these things by going through these emotions. And I didn't understand that when I first started. I used to think all these successful people online, they're perfect, they don't have anxiety. But I later learned they're not perfect, they are talented, they do have anxiety, but they faced it so many times, they've gotten used to it, or they've lessened it. And then that's what I did. So I'll say it again, guys. The practice and the habit and the solution to most of your problems on this channel, on this stream right now, is to practice being comfortable whilst being uncomfortable. And the more you do it, the better you're going to feel. Let me just summarize it, make it very simple, guys, right? Just so you understand it. Let me know if this is going over your head. I'll explain it again. Think about anything that you've done for the first time. How did you feel? The first time you went cinema, the first time you danced, the first time you went to a party, the first time you gave a speech, the first time the first time you started a new job. How did you feel? You felt nervous, you felt insecure, you didn't feel confident. We've all felt that. That's human. And then ask yourself, how did you feel a few months down the line? Well, you felt a lot more confident in the job. Why? Well, because you got used to it, you practiced it, but you can't skip that phase of practice. And that's kind of what you guys are saying in some regards. And I'm not saying you guys are insane, but it is insanity to say, how do I get good at something without practicing it? The answer is you can't. In most things, you can't. It's like saying, um, I want to be really good at swimming, but I don't want to get wet. I don't want the water to make me wet, and I don't want to swim. It's like, well, how are you going to get good at swimming then? So I'm trying to get you to change your mindset, and this is part of the mindset that I teach, where you've got to start adjusting your mind to the fact that if you don't get uncomfortable, and if you don't expose yourself to these symptoms of fear and anxiety and nervousness, then you're not going to change. Those symptoms are not going to improve. What I can say is to give you guys hope, and it's true. Yes, the symptoms are going to start dissolving and decreasing the more you practice. I mean, when I started, to give you guys more hope, I couldn't speak the way I'm speaking now. I wouldn't be able to speak on a live stream for 15 minutes. I'd be nervous. I would be stuttering. I'd be awkward. I would be running out of things to say. I got to this point by going through those emotions and practicing and working at my speaking, and it gets easier. That's a longer conversation, Brent. That's quite difficult for me to answer that on this stream, but I appreciate the question. I'll think about that. How do I deal with having low emotional intelligence and having trouble identifying emotions? Yeah, that's a longer conversation. Appreciate you asking me that. That's something that's probably going to take time. And because I'm with you in person, it's hard for me to answer that on a live stream. But definitely, you can definitely improve in that. But I think that comes with working with a coach, or I think you're doing therapy, right? If you told me before, spending more time with people who maybe got their social skills might be more advanced than yours, and then you can pick up and learn from them and improve your emotional intelligence. What's up, underdog? Um, I love your YouTube name, by the way. I love that, underdog. I'm starting a 3-day trial tomorrow. Truck driving with the prospect of securing a job. Oh man, we're well pleased for you, man. We love hearing news like this on this channel. Anytime someone gets a job or they make progress, happy for you, man. Yeah, good for you. I was just talking about that earlier. You're doing the right thing. I keep saying it. I said it on my last weekend program to two of the clients. They really appreciated it. It gave them so much confidence. And I said to them, you have to change your relationship with fear and anxiety. You have to stop judging yourself for feeling nervous, because everybody feels nervous. It's the way that you deal with it, it's how you view it. And that is the right attitude. What Underdog just said, he's starting a 3-day trial tomorrow as a truck driver with the prospect of securing a job. He's doing it for free. He's going into the unknown and he's feeling anxious. I mean, you got to give him that's a champion. You can't judge that. Anyone who judges that is ignorant. And that is your mindset is going in the right direction. 100%. That's exactly it. See Oded. Sucking it up, dealing with the discomfort and anxiety is the only way to get the tool to actually improve it, and dealing with it, the anxiety. I am flabbergasted at the amount of people that are not honest about this online. It's upsetting sometimes. It does upset me. I mean, I don't take it personal that with all the time we've been in on this earth, and you know, people say they want to help people, and they're not honest about this. Thank God. Thank God for the honest people who tell the truth and help people, because it doesn't make sense to me to um, I'm not going to say the word lie, that's a bit strong, but it doesn't make sense for me to not tell people the truth. This is going to help people move forward. Love this live stream today. I knew it was going to be a good one. I knew it was going to be great. And every time I teach these streams and do the confidence coaching, I learn a lot. And I learn sort of like one of the main areas that people want help with. And from what I've gathered today from talking to everybody, the main struggle that people are having is accepting that they feel nervous and they want to figure out how to improve these symptoms. And I'm going to actually do a live stream and some videos on that. But I teach that in all my coaching programs. That's what I teach. That's what I love, is changing people's relationship with fear and anxiety and teaching them the tools to, number one, completely eradicate an anxiety, and number two, handle it better. 100%. Johnny, I know you're big on boxing, but do you think jiu-jitsu is valuable for anxiety? I don't think. I know it is. Obviously, boxing, I prefer boxing, but jiu-jitsu is brilliant. It's what you prefer. They will all help with that. There's no doubt about it. Um, on the topic of fear and being honest about fear in martial arts, I love this guy. Um, not because he's just a great fighter, because I don't know much about UFC. I'm not going to pretend to, but because he's honest. George St. Pierre is one of the most honest ultimate fighters I've ever seen on an interview. He's one of the all-time greats, and he was honest about how frightened he was before he went in the ring and he would fight. He said he was terrified. He said sorry my language, and I've felt this myself at times. He said he had to go and take a shit because he was so nervous and he couldn't speak to his family, people around him. He was so worried about losing the fight. But once he got into the fight, he was amazing. And that honesty is brilliant. You know, like I said, more people should be honest, especially successful people. I personally think anyone that's successful, anybody that's a teacher or a coach or has got a platform, has a duty, um, not to be perfect because none of us are, and I'm not, but they've got a duty to be honest with people. If you really want to help people, you've got to be honest with them. So when George St. Pierre said that, it inspired me. Um, Jackie Chan's awesome. Um, I love Jackie Chan growing up. I just wanted to update you guys if you're interested. I've got a weekend confidence program which is on April the 1st and the 2nd, and that is for dating and relationships and how to speak to women with honesty, confidence, and how to get over anxiety, all the things that you kind of want help with. If you're interested in coming on the program, then you can send me an email. My email address is here. Drop me an email if you're interested, guys. I can speak to you and give you the details. But yeah, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe, like, share. Let me know if you're getting a lot of value. And I've really enjoyed this today. It's been amazing. I'm well pleased that everyone's got value, and it's given me a great idea. Um, I'd love to say yes, but I would be lying at the moment. It's quite unlikely. You never know. Will I be doing a program in the US? Not at the moment, but it could change. Um, I've had a lot of clients from the US. I always appreciate the Americans because they've always supported me on the channel, and I've had a lot of great business and people that I've met. I've said before, so I do feel a little bit disappointed that I haven't been able to get over. But let's see what happens in the future. I did plan a few years ago, but lots of things happened. But yeah, I'm not going to make excuses. But yeah, if you want to do a program, you'd have to come to London as things are now. But yeah, I've worked with so many people from America, from different parts, Cincinnati, Queens, New York, Florida, Los Angeles. Met all these amazing people from America that have come over here and done my program. Recently, not too long ago, worked with a lovely guy who was Mexican American from Los Angeles. He came over and worked me 4 days. No, I haven't traveled there, Brett. Last place I traveled was Germany, Hamburg. Really enjoyed that. Yeah, I recommend you guys checking out some of my other videos on anxiety and fear and how to control the symptoms more. But I'm going to do a video on this. I think, yeah, I think this is what happens today. People forget. They think that people don't feel fear when they're successful, but people got to realize that they do. And I mean this respectfully. People that haven't yet achieved their goals are not successful, that look at people that are successful and think that they don't have issues, they don't have anxieties. They do, but they handle them better than you're handling them right now. That's the difference. I'm really pleased that you guys are speaking amongst each other in the group. Yeah, you know what? Let me write that question down because I'm going to make a video on this whilst we're here so I don't forget, because you guys have given me an idea so I can help more people with this. And it's a topic that I love. And that is do the physical symptoms of fear and anxiety go away, and how to improve the symptoms. That was kind of the question from you guys. I'm going to do some videos on that. Love this topic. Never gets boring for me. Because I've said it before, one of the most valuable skills to have in life is the ability to handle these symptoms of fear and anxiety and perform. And I learned very quickly that, it's all good and well. You can leave school and you can, have degrees and you can learn things, which is great. You can pick up knowledge and educate yourself. But at some point, if you can't control your anxiety and fear, then you're going to be very limited. It's going to hold you back at some point, because there's going to come a time where theory and book knowledge is only going to get you so far. You're going to have to step up to the plate. You're going to have to be the man in the arena. And if you can't be the man in the arena, you can't do it, then you're going to lose out. And not only are you going to lose out, but other people are going to lose out on the value that you have to offer. And everybody's got value. Everybody's got, talents. Everybody's got a story to share. But if you haven't got the courage to share it and you can't manage your nerves, then not only are you losing out, but it's a crying shame that other people are losing out. I'd really recommend anybody listening today on this stream, and if you come on later on, great, on this channel, I recommend at least once a week you practice facing a situation or taking part in a hobby, whatever it is, that invokes anxiety and adrenaline, so you can practice the art of managing the symptoms of fear and anxiety. And there's many things that will invoke that: dancing, public speaking, anywhere where you get triggered. And that's something that I've done for many years and I still do. And you get so much growth from that. And it's funny that we're kind of coming to the end. At the start of this talk, it was how to build confidence of women dating and relationships. And you guys have kind of helped me to answer the question. And the question, when you get down to it, is you got to learn how to control your physical symptoms of fear and anxiety. Can't really answer these questions. No problem in you asking them. Um, but yeah, can't really answer these questions right now because I'm here, I'm present, I'm thinking about this, what I'm enjoying, and these questions are too far out. But I appreciate your questions. But yeah, really, it's practice. The more you practice um, going into situations which make you nervous and anxious, the better you get at them. If you really want to do it, you dedicate your life to it. I dedicated my life to it because, as I said before, the first 15 years of my life, I couldn't deal with symptoms of fear and anxiety. I would talk myself out of it, or if I felt it, I would feel scared and ashamed, and I would retreat back into my comfort zone. And years of living like that made me depressed, and I got to a stage where I thought, I can't do this anymore. And that's when my mindset became positive. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Anxiety, for the most part, psychological anxiety is making a mountain out of a molehill. Yes, we blow things out of proportion, which is why taking action puts things into perspective. It stops thinking and it gets you the result. Before we end, I go through a couple of things that are great practice for conquering fear, getting better at controlling your emotions, performing whilst under nerve, stress, and anxiety in no order. Anyone can do these: public speaking, sparring in a boxing gym, controlled sparring, or in MMA, martial arts, doing some sparring, first dates, job interviews, live streams on YouTube, like what I'm doing now, making a YouTube video, dancing, going to dance classes, traveling to new places, meeting new people, parties, events. These are all different opportunities to practice getting comfortable with feelings and emotions, most of which derive from anxiety and adrenaline, which, truth be known, there's such a close link between fear, anxiety, and excitement. And if you change your mindset and you practice enough and you've got the right mindset and a growth mindset, you can soon look at fear as excitement and actually get excited and thrive whilst being under pressure or stress. And that's something that I learned to do and I teach. But if you allow your mind to frighten you and trick you, you're not going to do it. You're going to talk yourself out of it. Your negative voice was going to say, don't go on a program, don't go to that party, don't deliver that speech, don't meet a group of people, don't travel, don't start a business. It's going to tell you the don'ts, or what if it doesn't work out, that whole conversation, which doesn't get you anywhere. You've got to override that with willpower. And I keep saying it, if you can't do it on your own, you physically can't do it, you should really think about investing in a coach and a mentor, because a lot of the times um, people don't have the willpower, they can't find the courage, they don't have the mental and emotional stamina and strength to do these things that are fearful on their own. They need the help and support of another person. I always say it: smart people invest in mentors, unintelligent people let their pride get in the way and they don't invest in mentors, and they try and do things on their own and they fail. Yeah, that's one way of looking at it. I got 5 on it. Oh, you're welcome. Yep. That's good. We're in good humor here. Everybody's had their vitamins. Yeah, I think if I can get time to go live tomorrow, I'm going to do a live stream on what we've discussed today, which is um, do physical symptoms of fear and anxiety go away, and how to improve the symptoms. It's weird, isn't it? There's something in our culture, something in the minds of people that still have the ego has a real hard time admitting nervousness or fear, and also has a hard time adjusting, accepting that everybody feels it, and you have to go through it to improve it. It's the only way. But people still, in the minds of people, they still have such a hard time admitting it. They feel ashamed. They feel if they share that, they'll be judged, they'll be less than, but it's not true. Yeah. And that's what makes you a strong person, Johnny, to be able to admit it and say what you said, which I respect. It's brilliant. Johnny said, he has lots of fears and insecurities and doubts, and we all do. But it's what do we do from that point? Two people in this world, um, both have fear. The first group of people, they don't do anything about it because they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to admit it. They're afraid of judgment. That's their choice. Second group of people own it. They say, I'm frightened of everything, or I've got many fears and I want to conquer these fears and I don't want these to hold me back. They face it, they conquer it, their life changes. I know what category I'd rather be in, and I've chose the second category. And from what I've understood today, you guys want to fall into the second category. It's better to be humble in life and just say, yeah, this frightens me, I'm scared of it. Then you feel free. That's an exercise. Well, Johnny's already done it, and I do it all the time. And you guys can try it right now. I get my clients to do it from a positive place, and they feel like there's 1,000 kilos lift off their shoulders. I was going to say soldiers' shoulders, and that's the exercise of being vulnerable and saying, "Yeah, I'm nervous about that. Yeah, I'm scared of that. I'm frightened of that. But you know what? I'm going to face it." And that's what a strong person does. I'm going to hold back on some material here because I'm going to go into the next talk. I want to save some of this for the next streaming videos. Yes, totally it's true. It really is freeing when you say out loud that you're nervous or you're fearful. I mean, I was scared. I was nervous to dance. One of my biggest insecurities was dancing in front of people, and I got a lot of experience, as most of you know. It doesn't make me it doesn't make me perfect. So what I did was I admitted it to my girlfriend, the girl I was dating at the time. This was 3 months ago, and I said I'm really scared to dance, and I know that we're going to go out to a place, and you're going to expect me to dance, and I'm really scared of it. And I said, you know what? I'm going to face it. I faced it, and I loved it, and I enjoyed it, and it was so freeing. And now I've got a little bit more confidence to dance the next time. No, no, I'm not ignoring you. I just thought you were trolling. I've got a good sense of humor, but if you were trolling, then I ignore it because I've only got time to talk to people that are committed and positive and want to change. But if you're not trolling, my humble apologies. I said the same to a guy yesterday. I thought he was trolling, and he wasn't. He was just genuinely asking questions. So I apologized, and then I was helping him. He said he had an anxiety disorder because you can't always tell when you're on the live stream. Um, I can't tell, because you guys are just writing comments. We're going to finish up soon, guys. This has been great. Um, I'm going to be straight. Um, I think working with me is better. And I wouldn't have said that before. And I would have had a fear to say that because I don't want to come across arrogant, but I'm just being honest. The amount of people that have said to me they tried hypnotherapy and it didn't change them. My confidence coaching is better, I think. But listen, the choice is yours. Obviously, you're an adult. If you want to go and do that, then great. It might work for some people. In my experience, what I teach is better because I'm very skeptical with hypnotherapy. If that was the case, then everybody would just be hypnotized and have no fear. So I think it might work with some people, but I don't think it's a long term strategy. The coaching that I do teaches you the tools that you don't need to be under hypnosis. You know, you can be conscious and awake and learn how to overcome fear by taking action and changing your mindset. But listen, um, you do what you feels right for you. I've coached a hypnotherapist, many coached doctors, all different people from different backgrounds, different walks of life. And I've said it before, most people avoid what I teach and what other people teach similar because they don't want to get uncomfortable. They're looking for quick fixes and there isn't one. You can't get a quick fix. I mean, these things might put you in a temporary state, but at some point you've got to come out of that. And it's a bit like people that say they use alcohol. Yeah, you can drink loads of alcohol and then go and do crazy things and then you're going to regret it. And it's not going to solve the problem. The problem is doing it naturally, you know? Yeah, 100% Eddie. Because if that was the case, I would have done that when I started. I would have got someone to hypnotize me, but it wouldn't work. Now, what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to be hypnotized for the rest of your life in order to not feel fear. No, you got to learn it's a normal human emotion. You got to learn how to deal with it. What reduces anxiety is what I teach: regular physical exercise, improving diet, socializing with people, setting goals, taking action, getting a coach. Um, Hey, Mordor Jackford, are you new to the channel, man? It's the first time I've met you. If you are subscribed to the channel, let me know. I hope I'm not putting you on the spot. I don't want to do that. It's just um, I get to know names of people on the channel, so it's great if you're new. Subscribe because I can help you with this. Let us know if you're new to the channel. You might have been following me for a while. Well, I've coached quite a lot of clients who have had what you've had. They're very logical and they've been quite anxious at work and had trouble communicating. And I've helped them to improve that through coaching and mindset and goal setting. You might want to join tomorrow's live stream that I'm going to be doing in the evening. Is it Mordor Jackford? Because I'm doing a live stream on how to improve anxiety as a whole. Oh, okay, you've been following me for a long time, but you don't watch all my videos. I appreciate that. Yeah, Jordan Peterson is the same philosophy as me when it comes to fear. It's exactly what you said. He's all about exposure, facing it, and gradually facing it and building a tolerance. It's exactly the same truth. David Goggin, Jordan Peterson, same thing that I teach. Many people have come to this conclusion because it's the best thing out there, but it's the thing that a lot of people don't want to do. David Goggins talks about it. He says everybody wants to be successful. Nobody wants to get uncomfortable. They don't want to suffer. They don't want to go through feeling insecure. But if you don't go through that, nothing's really going to change, really. All right, guys, that'll be it today because I said I was going to do an hour. I've done an hour and 20 minutes. Appreciate you coming on. It was great. I really enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys on the next stream. Like, share, subscribe, and keep putting these things into practice. It will get easier. And as I've said, if anybody's interested in getting confidence coaching for anxiety or social anxiety, send me an email and I'll get back to you in 48 hours, and I'll speak to you and see if I can work with you and coach you and recommend you approach it for the 5 years. And it was great, all of you coming on. I really enjoyed the stream today. I'm looking forward to the next one. All right. I'll speak to you guys soon. Have a good time.